Dobar dan, kako ste? Drago mi vas je vidjeti u tako velikom broju. Moje ime je Matija, ovo je moj partner koji slika iza vas, Rok. Mi smo dio tima Cube Labs. Cube Labs je zapravo DAO, samo 2 člana, ako vam se dogovoriti, koji je u kripto 2016. godine. Bavimo se marketingom, community growthom, community managementom i validacijom. Od 2016. godine pomagali smo raznim projektima, ali najznačajniji od njih su Axelar, Euler i Celestia. Ovdje smo vam došli prezentirati ideju modularnih blockchaina i Celestiju, koja je započela cijeli movement. Sve je krenulo 2019. godine kad je Mustafa Al-Bassam, trenutni CEO Celestije, napisao white paper koji se tada zvao, još uvijek se zove Lazy Ledger, i u njemu je dokazao da je data availability problem moguće riješiti, ali o tome ćemo malo kasnije. Idemo malo pričati o evoluciji blockchaina i kako smo došli zapravo do ideje modularnih blockchaina. Sve je krenulo sa Bitcoinom i kada je Satoshi Nakamoto objavio taj white paper, to je otvorilo upchain eru. Tu smo imali razne upchain chainove, Bitcoin, Monero, Litecoin i ostale. Nakon toga imamo Ethereum i Vitalika. To otvara monolitik eru. Sada imamo jedan execution layer na kojem vi možete deployati svoje aplikacije, ali te aplikacije se deployaju sve na jedan chain, što dovodi do zagušenja mreže, povećane cijene tih transakcija. U toj Ethereum eri, odnosno monolitik eri, imamo i rise raznih Ethereum killera. Naravno, svi smo čuli za neke od njih kao Neo, EOS, itd. Gdje su sada. Svi se oni natječaju sa time da će biti bolji od Ethereuma pretežito u broju transakcija koje mogu obaviti u sekundi. Naravno, ni jedan od njih ne skuplja kritičan broj usera. Isto tako imamo i rise raznih EVM L2 sidechainova, koji se isto tako pokušavaju riješiti scaling Ethereuma, ali dešava im se ista situacija kad god nekakav app koji ima veliki broj usera se pokrene na tom sidechainu, dolazi do zagušenja mreže i povećane cijene transakcija. Sve su to bili vrlo dobri eksperimenti, ali naravno nijedan od njih nije uspio. Nakon toga imamo Kozmos i Kozmos otvara put monolitik upchain eri. Šta to znači? Kozmos je u biti bio skup blockchaina koji su imali svoj execution na kojem ste mogli deployati aplikacije. Oni su svi bili međusobno povezani preko IBC-a. Kozmos je isto tako bio i dio modular software stacka. Znači, vi ste u njemu imali konsensus i execution kao software. Tendermint možete gledati kao konsensus layer, a Kozmos SDK kao okruženje u kojem developeri stvaraju svoje execution layere. Kozmos se najbliže približio viziji Celestije, ali nedostajala su dva važna sastojka koja su se trebala riješiti da bi mogli doći do Celestije i njihove trenutne vizije blockchaina. Ta dva problema bio je data availability problem. Što je to data availability problem? Da biste skalali L1 blockchain, morate povećati block space, morate skalati block set, povećavati block space. Da bi to napravili, trebate povećati blokove. Kada povećavate blokove, fundamentalno uzrokujete centralizaciju. Ljudi su dugo godina radili research na tome kako da to naprave, a da ne uzrokuju centralizaciju. Mustafa Al-Bassam je to uspio riješiti sa nečim što se zove data availability sampling, o tome ćemo malo kasnije, ali on je zapravo uspio riješiti problem kako povećati taj blok, da regularni useri nisu priced out i da dalje mogu verificirati chain i da on ne postane centraliziran. Drugi problem koji je trebalo riješiti je bio layer 2 scaling, odnosno kako možete napraviti layer 2 blockchain da preuzima security layera 1. Taj problem je riješio John Adler sa svojim optimistic roll-upom. Šta je on napravio? Šta su oni napravili? Kombinacijom rješavanja ta dva problema otvorili su put jednom novom paradigmu, novoj arhitekturi, načinu na kojem možete graditi nove blockchaine, a to su modularni blockchaini. Vjerojatno se pitate šta je to modularni blockchain, koja je njegova definicija. Dakle, modular blockchain je onaj koji se specijalizira u jednoj ili dvije core funkcije blockchaina, a one su execution. Na njemu se nalaze smart contracts i zadužen je za procesiranje transakcija. Primjer execution layera je rollup. Settlement, to je okolina u kojoj execution layeri verificiraju proofse, rješavaju fraud dispute i bridgeaju između ostalih execution layera. Konsensus, tu se dogovara o redu transakcija. I data availability layer, on se brine o dostupnosti podataka o transakcijama, odnosno da su podaci uvijek dostupni i spremni za verifikaciju. Dakle, ideja modularnog blockchaina je ta da se može specijalizirati za jednu ili dvije funkcije, umjesto da pokušava obavljati sve. Kombinacijom različitih specijaliziranih blockchaina u modularnom stacku može se stvoriti sustav koji je skalabilniji i prilagodljiviji. Ovdje imamo primjer konfiguracije modularnog stacka. On je malo Celestia centric. Prvi primjer je sovereign rollup ili nezavisni rollup koji nema svoj settlement layer i koristi Celestiju za konsensus i data availability. Drugi rollup je standardni rollup koji koristi neki drugi layer za settlement i Celestiju za konsensus i data availability i Celestiju ili Validiju koji ima svoj execution layer, koristi Ethereum za settlement i konsensus i Celestiju za data availability. Kako to izgleda kad bi to usporedili sa Web2 cloud stackom, kako bi Web3 modular stack izgledao? Vi u Web3 cloud stacku imate razne usluge koje svoj data storaju ili publishaju u data center, dok to u modularnom stacku imate execution layere, te iste aplikacije koji postaju taj svoj data na data network. Zašto Celestia? Dakle, bilo tko može brzo deployati decentralizirani blockchain bez dodatnih troškova pokretanja novog konsensus layera, zajedničkog security layera, koje su mu prednosti scalability, jednostavnost deployanja vaših aplikacija, shared security i nezavisnost execution environmenta. Isto tako, još jedna od prednosti je tim. Dakle, imamo Ismail Kofija koji je bio je senior engineer u Tendermintu Interchain Foundationu, to je bio Kozmos, dakle onaj koji se najbliže približio viziji Celestije, Johna Adlera, founder of Fuel, Scalability Research u Consensusu, koji radio na razvoju Ethereuma 2.0 i on je kreator Optimistic Rollupa, i Mustafa Al-Bassam, poznatih aktivist, ima doktorat u peer-to-peer sistemima i u 2019. godine osnovao je Chainspace, smart contract platformu koja je bila kasnije kupljena od Facebooka. Listan je na Forbesovoj listi 2016. godine najboljih poduzetnika godina. Kako to Celestia zapravo rješava? Vi u tradicionalnim blockchainama imate dva tradicionalna tipa blockchain nodova. Imate full nodove i light nodove. Full nodovi downloadaju, pohranjuju i verificiraju sav blockchain data history. Kod njih je veća barijera za ulazak i sudjelovanje u verifikaciji. Manji broj korisnika s time ih koristi. Imate light nodove koji samo downloadaju header, ne verificiraju podatke manja je barijera ulaska i koristi ih većina korisnika. Ali u onome u čemu se Celestia razlikuje od recimo Ethereuma, znači ona se razlikuje light klientima ili light nodovima. U Ethereumu light node mora vjerovati većini validatora. Oni u Ethereumu nodovi skidaju samo zaglavlja, skidaju svoje podatke, spajaju se na RPC ili na full nodove i onda imate nekakav sistem u kojem se bira random skup od 512 validatora koji onda dolaze u sinhronizacijski odbor i onda oni potpisuju ta zaglavlja sa raznim informacijama, light nodovi to skidaju i tako ih provjeravaju, ali u neku ruku moraju vjerovati tim podacima kojim oni pružaju. Kod Celestijinih light nodova oni verificiraju blokove sa visokom sigurnošću, oni skidaju headere i skidaju dio podataka iz toga bloka, što basic light nodovi u Ethereumu recimo ne rade. E sad, pričali smo o data availability problemu, oni to uspiju rekonstruirati te blokove sa data availability samplom koji je zapravo rješenje data availability problema. Ali prvo ajmo reći šta je to data availability. Data availability, i čime se on bavi? Data availability se bavi transakcijama koje se trebaju tek verificirati po prvi puta, a data storage se bavi transakcijama koje su već bile verificirane. Zašto smo radili ovu usporedbu? Zato što mi u community imamo jako puno ljudi koji brkaju ova dva pojma. Data storage nije data availability, dakle data storage se bavi transakcijama koje su već bile verificirane, znači vi retrivate podatke od prije, a data availability bavi se samo sa novim transakcijama, odnosno one koje tek trebaju biti verificirane po prvi puta. Kako to izgleda u monolitik arhitekturi? Vi u monolitik arhitekturi imate znači full block nodove koji downloadaju full blok. Što se taj blok povećava, da u njega uključite više transakcija, vi zapravo tražite veći hardware requirement od usera da bi mogli verificirati taj blok. U modularnom steku imamo drugačije rješenje, gdje zapravo light node radi istu funkciju full nodova na Ethereum mreži, gdje light node skida samo dio podataka iz tog bloka. I znači što više povećavate taj blok, uvijete više taj zahtjevni hardware requirement od korisnika i oni to mogu provjeravati sa raznim uređajima. Na sljedećem slajdu možete vidjeti koji su to sve uređaji bili u igri. Znači imali smo ljude koji su to radili na Tesli, u svojoj Tesli, na Kindle, na Raspberry Piju, na Nintendo. Znači tu možete vidjeti koliko je zapravo taj hardware requirement mali za jednog korisnika da može verificirati podatke sa mreže. Šta je to zapravo data availability sampling i kako on radi? Znači, data availability sampling omogućuje light nodovima visoko vjerojatno jamstvo da je cijeli blok valjan preuzimanjem manje od 1% bloka. Povećava skalabilnost, smanjenje troškova za korisnika u pogledu ranjanja nodova i verifikacije mreže. I što imate više nodova u mreži, to ta mreža ima veći kapacitet. Zato možemo povećavati blok size. Kad bi to recimo usporedili sa QR kodovima, znači sa lijeve strane imate cijeli QR kod, sa desne strane imate QR kod u kojem nedostaje dio podataka, imate matricu i podatke, dio podataka se sprema u matricu u odnosu na dio podataka koji su u tom bloku i onda ti light nodovi sampliraju jedan i drugi dio i sa 99% vjerojatnosti javljaju da je taj podatak dostupan i da se može provjeriti. Ako želite više proučiti o data availability u samplingu, možete imati dva research papera koji su tu jako bitni. To je prvi je Lazy Ledger ili white paper kojeg je Mustafa Al-Bassam napisao 2019. godine. Drugi je Fraud and Data Availability Proof koji je Mustafa Al-Bassam koautorirao sa Alberto Solinom, Vitalikom i Ismail Kofijom koji je trenutni CTO Celestija. Dakle, koji su benefiti developmenta na Celestiji? Kao što smo rekli, scalability. Zašto? Što više nodova imate u mreži, tom blok može biti veći. Shared security, i to je razlika koju nismo imali u Kozmosu, gdje vi imate zajednički security layer i chainove koji se spajaju na taj security layer, dakle njihova interakcija je trust minimized bridge, i imate nezavisnost execution environmenta i fleksibilnost njihovog izbora. Dakle, zašto je taj security bitan? Vi kao application developer, vas ne zanima skupiti set validatora, ne zanima vas tokenomics i incentives za te validatore. Vas zanima samo vaša aplikacija. I to stvara jedan dodatan overhead i u smislu troškova i u smislu vremena. I to u monolithic dizajnu vi morate buildat from ground up. U modularnom dizajnu vi se samo pluginate u shared security layer, inheritate njihov security i možete se posvetiti vašoj aplikaciji, odnosno prvo. Ovdje to najbolje možemo vidjeti na primjeru Kozmosa, kao što smo pričali. U Kozmosu to funkcionira na način da vi imate konsensus i DA layer i execution layer koji je plugiran u njega. To su takozvani up chainovi, oni ih zovu zone. Te zone međusobno komuniciraju sa IBC bridge-em, ali problem je u tome što tu imate dva seta validatora. I znači kad oni međusobno komuniciraju, taj IBC nije toliko siguran. Doduše sigurniji od bilo kojih bridge-eva koji imamo danas, nikad nije bio hakiran, ali nije toliko siguran ko u sistemu Celestije, gdje vi imate jedan DA i consensus layer, u kojemu su svi ti execution layeri plugirani. Oni međusobno komuniciraju preko IBC-a, ali sada sa trust minimized bridge-em, jer imate samo jedan set validatora, više nemate dva. Znači oni svi dijele jedan set validatora. Znači, koje su beneficije modularne arhitekture? Zapravo, šta je to Celestia? Celestia je spoj Ethereuma i Kozmosa, gdje ste vi u Ethereumu ste imali taj shared security, jel tako, ste imali jedan chain, imali ste execution environment na kojem ste mogli deployati svoju aplikaciju, znači jednostavnost deploymenta je bila velika, ali niste imali tu nezavisnost i naravno, kao što znamo, Ethereum nije baš scalabilan, jel tako? I Kozmosa, koji nije imao taj shared security layer, kao što smo vidjeli, imali ste ove zone, svaka imala svoj konsensus i DA layer, u kojoj se plugin execution layer. Nije baš bilo jednostavno za deployati, jer ste morali deployati cijeli chain, morali ste naći validatore, morali ste napraviti proper centralized structure za njih, da bi se taj security layer mogao održati, ali ste imali zato nezavisnost i skalabilnost. Znači, Celestia u biti spaja te četiri značajna propertija u jedan chain. Ono što razlikuje Celestiju od svih drugih rollupa, na njoj možete deployati sovereign rollup ili takozvani nezavisni rollup. Kako on radi i šta je on? To je rollup koji ne koristi settlement layer. Omogućava developerima slobodu izbora execution environmenta i ne dijeljenja resursa sa drugima, ako to ne žele. Kako on radi? Dakle, on postaje direktno transakcije na konsensus i data availability layer i kasnije ih verificira sa povratnim informacijama. Kako developati na Celestiji? Šta sve možete raditi na Celestiji? Znači, sada imamo Cambrian explosion raznih projekata koji developaju frameworkse, koji bi omogućili app-chain developerima ease of deployment njihovih rollupa. Kakva je ideja? Tu možemo vidjeti nekoliko njih, znači Caldera, Dimension, Eclipse, OpenStack, Sovereign SDK i Rollkit. Budemo pričali malo o Rollkitu. Kakva je ideja? Dakle, ideja je da vi zapravo, ko kad kreirate svog lika u igrici, birate propertise koje će odgovarati vašoj aplikaciji, znači birat ćete koji EVM hoćete, koji execution environment hoćete, da li će to biti Cosmos SDK, Cosmos EVM, Fuel EVM, sequencer, centralizirane, decentralizirane, sequencer as a service, koji proof scheme hoćete imati, no proofs, fraud proofs, secret proofs, da li hoćete imati staking, nećete imati staking, stablecoin. Click of the button and i vaš rollup će biti deployen. To je ideja, to još uvijek ne izgleda tako u praksi, ali radi na tome da to tako bude. To bi bilo to. Ako ste zainteresirani učiti još malo više o Celestiji, modularnom steku, i ako ste zainteresirani deployati nekakve aplikacije na Celestiji, ovo su dva resursa koje možete skenirati. Mogu ostaviti mi trenutak ako želite. Znam kako je to sa kamerom, našao pališ pa se onda zoomirati, bacite van. Jeste svi slikali, jeste? I ovo su vam još dodatne informacije o rollketu, to je taj framework koji služi za deployment tih rollupa. Sad imamo Q&A session sa Yaz Khouryjem, znači za sva dodatna pitanja koja možete imati o Celestiji. Njega smo planirali. Možeš pozvati malo te Luciju ili ne treba Luciju? Da. Dakle, on je Head of Development Celestia Labs i mogu reći da je on jedan od glavnih i odgovornih ljudi zašto je Celestia chain uopće launchao.
Ja sam se uključio, evo, joinat.
Jesi joinat?
Možeš se joinat sam uključio.
Da, tu sad snimio isto.
Tu su joinat.
Ekskluzivni.
Opa. To je ovaj K bio VHF, jel?
Da. Nije on još radio posao.
Jel došao?
Ne još. Mogu pitanja tebi ili njemu?
Sad će gospodin doći pa ga rešetajte, molim vas.
Auuu.
Molim vas ga rešetajte.
What's better, I can
On to
hear
voli.
Celestia.
Ne. Nemoj to za početak. Budi dobar. Evo čekamo samo da se Head of Devel joina. Dakle, u najavi krenuo sam pričati. Dakle, on je jedan od glavnih i odgovornih ljudi zaslužan za launch chaina. Ima dugogodišnje iskustvo.
Kako se zove? Ćemo vidjeti.
Yaz
Možeš
Khoury.
staviti sliku?
Nema, nažalost, njegu. Sad ću...
Ne sliku, nego onaj, kako se zove, da ga googlam.
Aha. O, evo ga.
Here
Here he is. Hi, Yaz.
Hey, what's up? Woo!
Hey, how's it going, guys? So, a little early morning for me. I just came back from traveling yesterday.
Yeah, no
How's that?
problem. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for coming, Yaz. Just give us a second. Lucia, can you show me how do I pin this? Oh,
Awesome.
here it is. Yeah, we just finished the presentation, and you guys here have a lot of questions for you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, your audio kind of a little bit more distant. Maybe if you come closer to the microphone, maybe it's going to feel a little bit distant for me.
Sa stražne strane ovoga.
Ovoga, jel?
Da.
Ali važno je pitanje.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome.
That's important because the mic is kind of turned.
Directional.
Yeah, directional. Okay, guys, who has a question? Please go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess my question is a bit more general, maybe in nature, not like super Celestia specific, but it definitely has a lot to do with Celestia. So in this like future that we're imagining, where there are hundreds or thousands of independent rollups, and certainly Celestia does a good job. I think I actually launched something on Celestia through Conduit XYZ. I think they're integrated with you as a data availability layer for OP stack rollups. But imagine like there's 500 or 1,000 rollups, and how do we build apps which preserve atomic composability? So I really want to understand, because one of the big things about blockchain development now is that I can lean on to everything that existed before. Like, so I have USDC, which is a very important primitive that I have everywhere, and I know if I interact with some protocol that has very large TVL, I will be able to get a good rate on like swapping USDC for some other asset. And then if I'm building an app on top of that, I get to leverage this composability. It seems to me that like this roll-up centric future breaks composability, kind of fragments liquidity and ecosystem. I know there are solutions moving into this direction, but like what's the approach of Celestia? What are your opinions on how this will work in the future?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, yes, you do lose atomic composability when you have layers on top of each other. It doesn't matter if you're using Celestia, using Ethereum, using whatever, right? Like when you have a roll-up-based centric framework or roadmap, you do lose that atomic composability that you would benefit from in a monolithic architecture. But there are people working on solutions now. What is the correct solution is still hard to see. Like, there are some people thinking about ways to do it with, like with Oracle or like, you know, like something on the side of, like on the Celestia side, like, you know, having everyone use that shared state will in a way improve, atomic composability a lot. Other things are like intents. So intents are like an interesting kind of area of research where, like let's say I have X amount of ETH on an optimistic rollup that has Uniswap and I want to create it for the Ethereum that is available on Arbitrum. Now, do I have to go through all this transfer, bridging, moving everything through? Not necessarily, and that's what intent kind of provide you, which is like, okay, my intention is to move my Ethereum and swap it for what is available from Optimism to Arbitrum. And you'll have some mechanism that does that, which is not necessarily atomic, but it does kind of help solve that gap. However, we're still, there's still a lot of areas of research. And like you said, it's not really unique to Celestia. It's unique to any kind of chain where you have different rollup. It does fragment liquidity. However, bridging solved like the liquidity issue and stuff, but it's something that we're solving for, like the whole space, and intent might be the most promising solution for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ima još neko pitanja?
I'm not that technical, but as I understand things, Ethereum and also Polygon are also developing in the same direction as Celestia is now. So how do you see them as the competition in the near future, and how competitive are they going to be?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily, I come from an Ethereum background, right? I don't necessarily see, I don't know why I did that, but I don't necessarily see Ethereum as a competitor and stuff. Now, it is true that, the idea of Celestia with like roll-up centric framework was originally in a Celestia vision, right? And then, Ethereum went through that vision and stuff, and now people are doing the data availability layers, right? Now, the advantage that Celestia has over other, like you can call them competitors if you like, but other layer ones that are doing DA layers is we don't have an execution environment. So we don't have an EVM, we don't have a Solana VM, we don't have the Cosmos and Cosmos and stuff, although nobody uses it. We don't have any of that, right? Because we don't necessarily care about execution. That's up to the rollup to do, right? Whereas in the other model, they still are married in a way to their execution environment. So Ethereum would never be able to support, let's say, a Solana VM-based execution as an L1 compared to but it can do it on the, on the rollup side. So when you have no execution environment, it gives you one amazing advantage to focus on DA, data availability, and scalability. Whereas in the other model we mentioned, they're still distracted by a lot of different other parts of the roadmap, right? They still have a lot of other things they need to focus on. So it's not only data availability and stuff, they're focused on so many other things. So like the advantage Celestia gives you, like it's more focused, it's more only for data availability. We don't care about what you want to build with. We don't care if you like Ethereum or Solana, you can build with both. If you want, you can create, it's modular, right? which is why we say, you know, to build whatever approach. Now, in terms of performance and stuff like ours, we're way ahead of everyone in terms of like data availability sampling. Nobody else has data availability sampling. This is trying to solve the blockchain dilemma. Everyone else has some form of data availability committee, but committees are boring. Committees are like the old, you know, like it's not innovative. And we're trusting a committee, we're trusting maybe two-thirds of a committee and stuff.
We lost you for a sec. Can you repeat?
You guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Now,
We have a problem with the HDMI cable, so I'm holding it.
Mike is
Okay.
holding your lifeline.
It's just that last part.
I guess I stopped. Yeah, I think I stopped off around multisig. Like committees are like a multisig. They're boring, traditional finance level of old world model where data availability sampling that's a clever solution, and there's nothing like that available anywhere, whether it's Eigenlayer or Veil and stuff. However, we don't really look at them necessarily as competitors or anything. Like everyone has their own approach. Like Eigenlayer is doing ABS. Veil has a really cool, like their you know consensus mechanism is really cool. But you know the approach of Celestia, because it's very innovative, very ahead of its time, and we had like a 4-year head start on building data availability sampling and stuff. It's like that's how we like we're getting a lot of adoption, we're seeing a lot of performance improvements and stuff. Rollups are saving a lot of money and stuff. So this is the track we're at right now.
Thanks.
Why did you choose Cosmos instead of, say, Polkadot or Avalanche, just layer 0?
Did you hear that?
No, I did not. I'm sorry, it's really far away.
Yeah, I see you have Polkadot, or sorry, you have Cosmos as layer 0.
Why did Celestia decide to use Cosmos as layer 0?
Okay, so why does Celestia decide to use Cosmos over Polkadot? So I think a common misconception about Celestia is that it's a Cosmos chain, where my personal view on Celestia is not a Cosmos chain, right? We do use Cosmos SDK, we do use Tendermint, and we do use like a lot of the different kind of libraries in Cosmos SDK. But for people like to wrap your head around the vision of Celestia, it's not going to become like another Cosmos zone, right? Which is just like for me, a Cosmos zone is something like Osmosis, which is like a DEX with its own validator set, or Stargaze with its own, it's like an NFT marketplace with its own unique validator set. What we're proposing is shared security. So it's an entirely different model than what Cosmos is used to, right? So in a way, it kind of shifts the Cosmos vision by telling Cosmos chain that you don't have to be an app chain, you can become a roll-up. And by that, you mean you don't need a validator set anymore. You know, why would imagine that you want to build your own NFT marketplace. Why do you want to have your own validator set, or talking to people to become validator for an NFT marketplace? It doesn't make sense. It's like if OpenSea had its own unique validator set. It's better for it to be like a roll-up, right? So, deploy as a roll-up. You don't have to worry about validator set anymore because we provide what we call shared security, where you have the security of the chain with a shared validator set to, secure multiple different kind of roll-ups. Now, the other reason I think is because most of our early team, they come from the Cosmos SDK and Tendermint background. Like the CTO Ismail and some of our core devs, they all come from that background. That's why they're more knowledgeable in Cosmos versus using something like Substrate or Polkadot, if that makes sense.
Ima još neko pitanje?
So, I'm a developer and I want to start developing something on Celestia. So,
Okay.
where do I start? What do I do?
Yeah.
Give me some ideas.
So we have hold on, let me see if I can share it. Yeah. We have a portal for developers, and it depends on, so we have celestia.org/build, and then we have Matija, I'm gonna send it on the Google Chat. I don't know where I'll just send it. And then we have the documentation. Now, depends on what you want to build. Like, is because what we see with the modular architecture, there are two different types of developers, right? There's one who are used to the smart contract development, right? So if you're coming as a smart contract developer, right, then the best way to develop is to play around with the testnet that we have for the different rollups, right? So we have one for Arbitrum called nitrogen testnet. We have a testnet for optimism, or like the OP stack testnet called bugs testnet, which is like bubble theme kind of testnet. So that gives you an opportunity just to quickly deploy your app, your Solidity smart contract and test it on an existing testnet. Now, with the link that I shared, celestia.org/build or docs.celestia.org, both of them, you can also get started with deploying your own rollup. So right now you can deploy on Arbitrum, Nitro, rollup. You can deploy an OP stack rollup already on Celestia if you want, on a testnet if you like. You can also use something that's more Cosmos SDK based, like Rollkit, if you want to deploy Cosmos SDK kind of rollup on Celestia. We have a lot of examples for how you build something with it, like a lot of tutorials and examples that you can find on the website, on the documentation, on the Slack build. Also, if you don't want to deploy your own rollup because you don't want to care about infrastructure, we have what we call rollup as a service, or RAS. So that will allow you, kind of like AWS, you go there, you're like, hey, can you deploy me an Optimism rollup or something? I'll deploy it, submitting DA to Celestia, but it's suddenly on Ethereum, right? And then you can, deploy your smart contract, you have an Explorer for your rollup, you have everything provided for you. And then you just have to build whatever you want to build, which is why we say build whatever.
I think Conduit is great. They support Celestia. They're like Conduit. They like deploy rollups, choose Celestia as a data availability layer. I did it like a few weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
Conduit, they're speaking about Conduit, yes, I don't know if you're able to hear. Conduit is integrated with Celestia, or?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah?
Yeah, can you repeat, what do you want to integrate with Celestia?
No, there's a service, like rollup as a service platform called Conduit, and I think they...
Conduit, yes, it's integrated with Celestia. You also have Caldera, you also have AltLayer, you have a bunch of other ones. But Conduit, yes, it's already integrated with Celestia and Caldera as well. And they provide you like an end-to-end solution. So, and then you just focus on deployment and stuff, to deploy your smart contracts and stuff. But yeah, they give you an Explorer, they give you a faucet if you want to do it on testnet, they give you
everything basically.
like RPC endpoints, they give you so much.
Conduit is amazing, by the way. I gave it a shot. It's just like click, 10 clicks, you have a roll-up, you can deploy smart contracts, it's done. Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
it's so easy. It's one of my favorite things because one way to think about it also is, so there are three different, blockchain paradigms that we saw throughout the years, right? So the first is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, you can think of it like, in terms of the computation model, it's kind of like a calculator, right? It's adding and subtracting UTXO model, right? And then Ethereum came along, and then you have something like a computer where you can do more, Turing complete, kind of like problem solving, right? But what Celestia came at the third model is, it's a cloud computer. So cloud computing, and that's why RAS providers exist, because that model works really well with Celestia, because it's very cheap to deploy a rollup right now, and take advantage of that. So you can build a gaming rollup, you can do like an NFT rollup and stuff, because now data availability becomes saved a lot of money for folks. So that's why you have like cloud computing becoming the next paradigm, and RAS providers are like the new AWS and stuff using Celestia as a framework.
Awesome. Ima još neko pitanja ili kako stoji? Luka?
I mean, again, I'm not a developer, but I know that developers are usually shy, except for this gentleman Dan at front. So, how do you engage with your developer community? This is the first time that I've ever met someone who's from Celestia. So, you have like meetups, like are there any like small grants that I can kick off and then kind of roll deeper a little bit? What's the outlook there with Celestia?
Yeah. So for interacting like with the community and developers and stuff, like keep in mind we're still a small team and stuff, and we've been growing it over the past few years. But like my personal strategy is programs like these programs that you saw, like the Modular Meetup program, right? Where we have people around the world. We talk to them, and like if they're passionate about starting a meetup in their local area and stuff, we can also provide support, right? Where, because I can't be in a million different locations at once talking to all the amazing developers and stuff, right? But like having, community organizers and building around the world who can create this meetup where we can find people who are very interested in the modular architecture and in Celestia. So we can also be the one there, whether it's remotely or in person, just to show up and help you, onboard you, answer questions. Like if you're curious about it, that's one of the many things. The other thing that we're planning to do, and this is we haven't really announced it publicly, and it's not yet an announcement, but we are planning a hackathon, and hopefully the hackathon will be either end of February, maybe early March. It's going to be an online hackathon, so you don't even have to travel anywhere. Everyone's going to be able to participate from their own remotely. So we're working on that. That would allow you more interaction with Celestia. We do have Discord, yes, and Telegram where we interact with different people. But oftentimes you also can find us on on conferences and stuff. We go to different conferences. So I think the one closest to Zagreb would be Prague. We're probably going to be in Prague mostly. I don't know how close it is, but I think it's relatively close. And yeah, I mean, I've been to Zagreb before, but I was like 2019 and stuff. It was only for a few days because I have to go to. There was a village next to Zagreb called Varazdin. Yeah, so I went there. Really introduced to the Croatian culture. Like I love Croatia, So yeah.
You're invited to come back.
Yeah, go to tiny village, but I was really interested in the culture.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Yaz, for answering all of our questions.
And thank you guys for coming. Honestly, I'm happy that you guys are interested in Celestia, and thank Rock and Matija for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you, Yaz.
See you soon in Varazdin.
See you. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Kaže, malo selo pored Zagreba.
Živimo selo, ništa.
Ništa, hvala vam svima što ste došli, hvala vam svima na slušanju. Nadam se da smo vam malo približili ovu ideju modularnih blockchaina. Također želim se zahvaliti Luciji, koja je bila neizgledna pomoć u ovome i ostalim ljudima iz UBIK-a, vrlo dobri ljudi, moram priznat, baš sam ugodno iznenađen. Hvala vam na supportu, podršci.